The third argument I would like to use from the philosophical arguments of God is the anthropological argument. It is the idea of good and evil. Where does that come from? An evolutionist might say, well, we just developed that over time. But you do not see that anywhere in the animal kingdom. The idea that there is an absolute standard. The idea that some things inherently are good. There is something within each and every one of you that teaches you, whether you've had any religious training or not, there are some things that you know are good, some things that you know are evil, some things that you understand is for benefit, and then there are some things that you understand are just wrong. Everyone has the concept of fairness. Every one of you have had something to happen to you in your life and you thought that's unfair. Where does that come from? Where does the idea of good and bad come from? Every culture, not every person, but every culture, as you look back and study history, have worshipped something. They may have worshipped sticks, they may have worshipped the golden calf, they may have worshipped animals, but all cultures have worshipped something because there is something innate within us that wants us to cry out to a higher being. And so the anthropological argument is, where does that come from? You do not see it in the animal world. None of you have ever been to the zoo and seen the chimpanzees holding hands singing Kumbaya. It just doesn't happen. They don't have that. What you see with the idea of good and evil, right and wrong, and the idea of consciousness and fairness, it is only with humans. And so you have to ask the question, where does that come from? I want to give you an example of GPS. All of you know what GPS is. You have it in your cars. Many of you have it on your phones. When it first came out years ago, I was not a big advocate of it. I did not trust it. Until I took my mother to Detroit, Michigan. She had a childhood friend she had not seen in over 40 years who was about to die, and she wanted to go see her. And I took my mother to Detroit, Michigan, which is over 800 miles from here. And I had a GPS in my car, and I said, I'm going to try it. And so I punched in the lady's address, and off we go. And it works beautifully. In fact, if you've ever been to Detroit, it is hard to get around in. And without that GPS, I would have never found her house. She lived in downtown Detroit. And yet, that GPS told me to take a right here and a left here and this and that, and it pulled me right into her driveway. And 3 days later, I pulled into that lady's driveway, my mother got in the car, and I turned on my GPS and I pushed one button. And that button was home. And just by pushing that button home, it told me where to turn, how far to go, and if you're on the right road, it doesn't say a whole lot. But when a turn comes up, it will say you need to make a right in 1/2 mile, and you need to make a right in 1/4 mile, or you need to make a left. And the point I'm trying to make to you is that a GPS can get you home from anywhere in the world. It is my belief that God gave each and every one of you a conscience. He put something within you that whether you are religious or not, there is something inherent within you that as you live your life, there's something that says you need to turn left here. You need to get off the road here. And if you make a wrong turn, it will even, like the GPS, tell you to reroute. I'm rerouting. And you can make a bad choice in your life, and there's that conscience that's still saying, you messed up right here. You need to turn around, or you need to take another, and we'll get you back on the road. I think it's incredibly interesting that every person, if you listen to it, and just like you don't have to listen to the GPS, you don't have to listen to your conscience. But every one of you was given a GPS that will guide you through your life if you listen to it. And if you follow the directions, it will take you home to God.